Alright, so now we're finally getting ready to start installing this Frida framework. And therefore, put out your devices, start up your virtual machines, and then we have a look into this one. And let's go. Okay, so here we are now at the Ubuntu VM. This is our client where we need to install these Frida client tools. Regarding to the server, this needs to run on the device. So you can use a real device, like this one over here, but this needs to be rooted right now. Later on, we will figure out how we can run Frida without having root privileges. But for now, we need root privileges to make this a little bit more easy at the beginning. But if you do not have a rooted device, absolutely no problem. I have designed this course to work in this way also. Therefore, we can use our virtual machine, which we have already running, right? If not, then start it up right now. So we will need this in a moment. Alright, so now let's start installing Frida, and we also have a look into the Frida typical sites, because you can find a lot of useful information in there. Alrighty, and let's go. So we go into the well-famous internet, and then under frida.re, this is the official page of Frida. And so within the docs, we can find additional information to this one. There's the API description, and we also got some stuff like, for example, this presentation link. If you open this one over here, then we've got some nice presentations where the main author of this tool is talking about his amazing tool. So also, thanks to the author, this tool is really amazing. And the author is also really amazing too. He's very helpful, super nice guy, and yeah, he tries his best to help you out if you have some problems. Alrighty, so here we can see 2015, but I guess there are also some more up-to-date versions. Yeah, from 2018 at least. Okay, so this page, this is really helpful. Within the tools, let's see, here we can see some additional tools, Frida Trace, Discover, and so on. But what I was looking for is the API reference. This one, the JavaScript API, because we're using JavaScript to interact with our Frida server. This is maybe the most important link for you right now. So if you're opening this one, here you can find the API. And yeah, we will have a look into this one later on. I just want to give you the site and yeah, some useful links over here. All right, if we go to the top, I guess there's also an installation. There we go. And here we can see Frida can be simply installed by running pip install Frida tools. So this is the client part. The server needs to be downloaded from the official GitHub and then placed on the smartphone. But let's first set up the client. If this one works, then we get to the server part. Alrighty? Okay, so we open a new terminal, and in my case, I'm using Ubuntu 20.04. This means I do not have pip. In my case, it's pip3 because Python 2 has been now deprecated and it's not being installed anymore. Therefore, I have to use pip3 install frida-tools. Alright, there we have it. And now we can see the version 14.2.18 has been now installed. If everything works out fine, then we can simply run Frida right now. Let's see. There we go. We have Frida over here. In case if you have some troubles, sometimes I get some errors regarding to Frida command or module has not been found. And then we have to go into the Python bin directory and include this into our path variable. I will show you how we can do this. Okay, so here we are now in the home path. I can do in pwd, we are in home app. This is my home directory of this user. And within cd local bin, here we have now the binaries that's being installed with the pip framework. And for example, here we have Frida. We also have Frida PS, Frida Kill, Frida LS devices, trace, and so on. And now, if Frida has not been found on your system, all we need to do is adding this path into our path variable. So what we need to do is we take this path over here, and then we go into our, in my case, it's the ZSHRC. And let's see, do I have it already here? No. And then we simply append this at the end. Yeah, that's all we need to do. Now, if you run Frida, the system is looking into this path variable for those binaries. And within this path, it can find it now, and then we do not get this error anymore, command not found. Alrighty, so that's the step we need to do. You can also find some troubleshooting guide in the cheat sheet I have provided you at the beginning of this course over here. Alright, in case of course, if you're using the bash RC, then you also need to do it over here. So at the end, Whoops, there we go. We add this bin directory into this one here, and then we are good to go. All right, let's see if the system is still working. Yes, we didn't make it worse. All right, so now the FreeDAR-Tools has been installed on our client side. Let's have a look at the server component. And this is simply just a binary we can fetch from the official GitHub repository. So if we are searching for FreeDAR GitHub, and this one over here. Yes, so this is the official GitHub repository of FreeDAR, and yeah, within FreeDAR, we have now releases, and we can see, I mean, it's being constantly developed. So there are permanently commits in there. So this code is really actively maintained. So within releases, we can now find a lot of stuff. So there's some core features, some gadgets and stuff like this. What we are looking for is the server component. So we're simply hitting Control F, and then we are searching for server. And now it's important. As already mentioned, FreeDAR is available for many platforms out there. So we can see this also over here. We've got Android, we've got Android ARM and x86. We will get into this in a moment. But then we can also see FreeDAR is available for Linux, for Mac OS, and also for Windows. So which version or which server do we need to choose right now? If you want to run FreeDAR on our smartphone, a real device, this one over here, then we have to choose the ARM architecture, which is this one, ARM, or this one, ARM64. So in case if you are running a 32-bit device, then you need to have this server component. And in case if you're having a 64-bit device, like a Google Pixel, for example, then we need to have this server component. But if you're unsure, it's absolutely no problem. Simply download both and try them out. One of them work and the other one not. Alrighty? Okay. In case if you want to run FreeDAR on your Android virtual machine, then we have to make the decision between those two, Android x86 or x86-64. Once again, the 32-bit version, the 64-bit version. In my case, I simply go for the try and error approach. So I want to run this on a virtual machine, and therefore I download both of them. And I also show you how you can apply this on a real smartphone. Therefore, let's also download this one over here. Okay, I mean the server, it's not that big, 25 MB, at least for the 64-bit version, so it doesn't matter if you download 3 or 1 files over here. Okay, so the files have now been downloaded. Let's have a look. Within downloads, we've got now, FreeDAR server, this one here is ARM64, Android x86-64, and this one is just x86. We start by installing this on our virtual machine. And all we need to do is simply extracting this one over here and then performing an ADB push to data local temp. So how can we extract this? And the easiest way is simply double clicking it. And then we say extract. All right. And I'm also doing this for the 64-bit version of this one. So we can have both FreeDAR server on our virtual machine, and then we can simply figure out which one works. Okay. Okay, so now we have both extracted. We need to make our connection via ADB to our virtual machine. Let's see if this one works. Okay, unable to connect, and therefore I need to restart this virtual machine real quick. Okay, so now it should have been rebooted. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. All right, now we simply push these files onto the directory data local temp, because the data local temp directory is the only directory that is able to run binaries. Therefore, we cannot simply place our binaries on the SD card. We need to place them in the data local temp directory. But don't worry, even after a restart, they are still there. So this is not some kind of temp directory we know from our Linux system over here. Okay, so we go into the downloads directory and then we perform ADB push. We copy paste this one and we want to push this onto data local temp. And we perform the same for this file, ADB push, and this file to data local temp. Okay, so let's close this one over here. Now we connect to this virtual machine and then we go into data local temp. And here we have now our two FreeDAR server files. If you try to run this, it won't work, I guess. Let's see. Yes, the execute permission is denied. Therefore, we have to make them executable. We can do this with change mod plus X. And then we can simply say Frida server and an asterisk. So this should affect both files. Let's see if we now can run this. Sorry, this was a little bit fast. Let me abort this. Control C. Okay. So maybe let's do an ls again. We cannot see a difference, but if you perform ls-l, I'm gonna make this a little bit larger. Okay, so here we can now see we've got these executable flags set. All right, now we can run this Frida server. And now it says unable to save SE Linux policy, permission denied. The reason for this is we are trying to run Frida server as a normal user. But Frida needs to hook into certain components, and that's not possible by having just normal user rights. All we need to do is simply getting root privileges. And there we go, and running Frida server once again. So let's copy this. What? Oh, I have suddenly changed the directory. Data local temp. Okay, now we can run this. Frida server is now running. Nice. So put this on the right. This is now our smartphone. In our case, it's the Java virtual machine. This one over here. Maybe let's also opening this. Okay, this is now on the right side. We've got our Java virtual machine and our Frida server running on this one. Now we take our client and we connect to this one. We can perform if everything is working via Frida-ps, and then we have to append the parameter -U. Frida is using the ADB connection between those two components, between our client, the laptop, and also the server. So therefore, by providing the -U parameter, we tell Frida to use the ADB connection. And this is how these two components can communicate with each other, the server and the client. Let's see if this works right now. There we go. We can see it's working. But I guess that's also the case for the other architecture. So until we are not hooking any function, we will not find out if we are running the 32-bit version over here or the 64-bit version. We will find this out later on when we perform our first hook. But for now, let's keep it to the installation part. All right. So this is how we can install Frida on our virtual machine. Regarding to a real device, I mean, the approach is absolutely the same. Let's close this one over here. We disconnect from this one. Okay, and now I connect this real device and this one over here via ADB to my laptop, and then we perform this once again. Okay, so now I have also connected my smartphone. Let's see. ADB devices, and there we have it. This is our virtual machine and this one is our smartphone right now. And so first let's extract the server for this device over here. We have already downloaded it. Within downloads we have now Frida server ARM64. We extract this over here. Okay, and now let's see. ADB-S, we have now two devices, therefore we have to provide the serial number here. Shell, yes, okay, this one is working. Within data local temp, we can see, yes, it's not there. Therefore, let's go into the downloads directory and perform an ADB push. We provide the serial number. I'm sorry, ADB, then serial number, then push. I guess this way. Frida server Android ARM64, this one. Into data, I make this a little bit larger. Into data local temp. Okay. Now it's being uploaded. ADB-S. Oops, that's not the command we want to perform. We want to have a shell on our device. Okay, we get root privileges and now we also run the server. Data local temp, Frida server, permission denied. If you take a look via ls-l, we can see no executable flag. Therefore, we have to make it executable. Change mod plus X. All right, now we can see we have this executable flag. And now we can run this. Yes. Then we can perform this once again. And this time we see we get a different PS output over here because this is now a real device. We have some other, bunch of stuff running over here. Alright, so this is how we can install Frida on our virtual machine and also on our client. Maybe let's do a really quick recap over here on the desktop what we have done so far. So which components have we now installed, because it might be a little bit confusing if I rush through this like this. Alrighty, let's recap this real quick. The first thing we did was installing the Frida tools on our client. And so on our client we have installed the Frida tools. And this has been done via pip. In my case it was pip 3. So the Frida tools consist of the Frida binary or the Frida PS binary and things like this. In case if we get some trouble afterwards, for example Frida command has not been found, we need to add the local bin directory into our path variable. So our path needs to be extended with the home directory, home, app in my case, and then local bin. This is the directory that contains all these Frida binaries. Alright, after doing this, we do not have any troubles anymore and we can run the Frida command on our terminal over here. We do not get any errors anymore. Nice. The next part was regarding to the Frida server. And so the client setup has been finished at this point. We are done. The next part is regarding to the server, and therefore we have to go onto the GitHub repository and fetch the corresponding server binary. And this one over here. So we have a lot of different types. Regarding to a real device, like this one over here, we need to get the ARM binary. In case if you're running this on our virtual machine, we need to get the x86 binary. And in case if you do not know if it's a 32 or 64-bit architecture, we simply download both from this architecture. And so in our case, we have downloaded both for the x86 platform. Alright, then we've got this Frida server binary now on our client here. But it has the gset extension. So we need to extract this file first. We have done this by simply opening it in a file browser. And then we've got this Frida binary over here. Okay, this is now our Frida server. Okay, then to get this binary, this Frida server binary on our smartphone or virtual machine, we have simply established an ADB connection. So from this client to our smartphone or virtual machine. This has been done via ADB. Then we have simply used ADB push with this binary over here, and we have stored them in data local temp. This is the only directory that can run executables. Therefore, we need to put this over here on the smartphone within this directory, within data local temp. We have now this Frida binary. Alrighty. Then we have tried to run this binary, but this didn't work because the executable flag has not been set. We have done this by using chmod +x for this binary over here. And this has been also done in an ADB shell. After setting the executable flag, we can then run this. But in our case, we need now root privileges to run this Frida binary. We will learn how we can do this without having root privileges, but for now it's easier doing this way. Alright, then the Frida server is now listening on the smartphone. So here it's listening if you receive or send some commands over here. In our case, we have simply tested this connection with the tool Frida-PS. And what Frida-PS does is the following. Frida-PS, and this one over here, Frida-PS, is now connecting via ADB to our Frida server and tells them, please list all the processes in your smartphone, these processes, and send the result back to me. So this has been sent back to our client over here, and then we receive them over here. These are then the processes of the client. All right, so this was the setup in a nutshell, and I hope it's not more confusing right now, but if I look at this picture, it might be. But this is how the components work together. So we are starting the Frida server on our smartphone, and then with our client, the laptop, we can interact with this. In the next video, we finally start using this framework, and we will do our first hook into an activity. Therefore, I'm really looking forward to see you there.